I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this episode and supporting the BCU from the very beginning. I'm excited to announce my new website, babi.sh, or as I like to call it, babi.sh. The ultimate destination for all things BCU. There's all the recipes from my videos, exclusive new recipes, you can search by genre or ingredient, you can even toggle between US and metric and scale the serving size. We heard your feedback about everything you wanted from the site, so that's what we did. You can get 10% off your first Squarespace order by visiting squarespace.com/babish.
Perfect entry! And toasted almonds, that's unexpected. He stuck it! And just look at that even coating! Curse him, that's good. But perhaps a bit too highbrow for this crowd. Now get up there and show him how the common man prepares his frozen dairy treats! Just look at that concentration! Oh, a little shaky on that entry. But just look at that form!
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Binging with Babish, where this week with the Olympics in full swing, it felt like high time to tackle SpongeBob and Patrick's ice cream entrance into the fry cook games. First up, the reigning champ, SpongeBob, for which we have to make a yellow sponge, Bob. So I'm greasing and parchment papering a 9x13 baking pan and beginning to separate the yolks and whites of 3 large room temperature eggs. First, the yolks are going in the bowl of a stand mixer along with 75 grams of granulated sugar. These are getting whipped together on high speed for 3 to 4 minutes until pale and thickened and very nearly at the ribbon stage. In other words, you should be able to draw a figure of 8 that keeps its shape. Scoop that aside, thoroughly clean the bowl, and then it's egg white time, which we're going to beat together with 1/8 teaspoon of cream of tartar. Anytime you're beating egg whites to any stage, this helps keep them stable. Once the whites are frothy, we're going to slowly stream in 100 grams of granulated sugar. Once all the sugar's added, we're continuing to beat for anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes until the resulting meringue reaches the soft peak stage. In other words, when you pull the whisk out, it should look like this. Next up, we're negotiating the dries, combining 150 grams of sifted cake flour with 3/4 teaspoon kosher salt and 1 teaspoon of baking powder, tiny whisking to combine. Then we're combining 60 grams of room temperature milk with 50 grams of melted unsalted butter, 1 teaspoon vanilla paste, and 1 teaspoon of banana extract. And to get this sponge cake SpongeBob yellow, I'm adding a few teaspoons of yellow food coloring, tiny whisk to combine, and then in a large bowl, we're combining the egg yolk mixture, the dry mixture, and the milk mixture, gently folding to combine just until no dry patches remain. Then we're going to add the beaten egg whites in 2 stages. Start by adding about 1/3 of it, which we're going to gently fold in. It's going to lose most of its volume, but it's going to help the remaining egg whites mix in more easily. So once you got no more remaining white streaks, add the remaining egg whites and very gently fold together, resulting in a light, fluffy, silky batter, which we're going to pour into our prepared pan, gently coax into the corners until even, and then it's headed into a preheated 350°F oven for 10 to 14 minutes. While this cools, it's time to make our ice cream out of none other than SpongeBob's hearth and home. I'm peeling and coring a pineapple and placing 350 grams worth in this mysterious cup, along with 90 grams of whole milk, 50 grams of heavy cream, half teaspoon vanilla extract, half teaspoon kosher salt, and 100 grams of agave syrup, or the same amount by weight of your sweetener of choice. Tiny whisk to combine, and then we're pouring it directly over the pineapple. Then this guy's headed into the freezer overnight until rock solid. Now, since SpongeBob's dive is the highbrow act, I thought it warranted using a fancy new toy, that Ninja Creamy that everybody on TikTok can't seem to stop creaming stuff with. As you can see, our pineapple, milk, and sugar mixture is hard as a rock. Into the high-speed death machine it goes, select ice cream setting, and in 4 minutes, a rock-hard block of fruit, dairy, and sugar is shaved and blended by a blade that moves up and down through the cup, producing a silky smooth sorbet that has to be scooped to be believed. Apparently, this is the home cook's answer to the Paco Jet made famous by the menu. And for a giant, pricey blender that doesn't do as much stuff as a blender, I gotta say, pretty cool. So now we have the core elements of our SpongeBob ice cream. Let's put them together. First, I'm carefully slicing the cooled cake into precise rectangles using rulers and maths, trimming it down into little rectangles that are about 1/2 inch smaller than my intended mold. And it has the added benefit of looking exactly like SpongeBob. So now we have to ensconce this banana-flavored cake into pineapple sorbet. So I'm spreading a little sorbet in the bottom, plopping the cake in the center, and packing more sorbet around and on top of it. Rinsing and repeating for all the mold holes, and these guys are headed into the freezer overnight so they're completely solid before dipping. Once retrieved from the molds, we have to double popsicle stick, just like SpongeBob did, back into the freezer for another hour or 2 to make sure that they're extra cold. And then for dipping, I've melted 1 pound of dark chocolate and mixed it with 3 tablespoons of coconut oil for a homemade magic shell. In goes my roughest looking ice cream bar for practice, which I'm glad that I did because the shell hardened way faster than I thought it would. So when I dipped it in my toasted chopped almonds, I did not get even coverage worthy of the fried cook games. So for once, taking an actual cookie working tip from a cartoon, I dove quickly from the chocolate immediately into the almonds, resulting in much nicer, more even coverage. So there's our high-concept, highfalutin SpongeBob ice cream. What about the everyman Patrick ice cream? Well, first off, it felt like it'd be crazy not to use starfruit. Granted, the only starfruit I could find was underripe, which apparently causes indigestion, so I'm not going to use too much of it. I'm roughly chopping 3 fruits, placing them in the jar of a food processor, and processing until thoroughly processed. We're just going to be straining out the juice so you can break this down into a pretty fine paste. Now for the pink element, strawberry starfruit has a nice ring to it, so I'm going to puree a pint of strawberries and combine them with 100 grams of starfruit juice. Then to this mixture, I'm adding 340 grams each heavy cream and whole milk, and of course a whopping 200 grams of granulated sugar. I'm also going to add a little bit of pink, a little bit of red food coloring to amp up the Patrickness. So if the Ninja Creamy is highbrow, how does the common man prepare his frozen dairy treats? Well, one way that requires no special equipment is the ice bowl method. Place your ice cream base in a bowl set in a larger bowl full of ice and whisk constantly for 10 minutes. You can also add water and salt to the ice to better translate the cold. Cover the bowl with a clean towel or plastic wrap and freeze for 30 minutes. Uncover and once again whisk constantly for 10 minutes. Cover it back up, send it back into the freezer for 30 minutes, and repeat this process 2 more times. You know you're done when the ice cream base is thick and slushy and your arm doesn't want to do this no more. Pour into the ice cream container of your choice, cover, and freeze overnight. And the next day, all your effort will be rewarded with some pretty stiff, icy ice cream. This normally turns out smoother and softer with a more dairy-forward base, but all the water in the strawberries and starfruit made it a little icy. That being said, it still scoops and eats just fine. I'm placing my pre-scooped cones back in the freezer because they're going to have to be upside down for quite a bit. I'm making a chocolate ganache by pouring 300 grams of steaming heavy cream over 500 grams of chopped chocolate, then letting it sit for about 30 seconds before very gently stirring together. But no matter how careful you are, you can still split your ganache. If it looks oily and kind of slides around the pan, looks a little chunky, you can fix this by heating it over a double boiler sometimes, but it's easier to just add a little splash of Grandma SquarePants cough medicine. A touch of alcohol can help re-emulsify the mixture, or it can make it worse. I don't know, ganache is kind of a mystery to me. Either way, once you've got the fat and chocolate ratio right, it's time to dip. Leave it upside down so it gets a little bit of a peak going. Pray that your pre-scoop doesn't come plopping out into the chocolate, and flip it over to try to get that Dairy Queen soft peak. Not as photogenic as Patrick's, but that didn't look fully real to me. So there you have it, SpongeBob and Patrick's ice creams from the Fry Cook games. And since I'm too scared to even eat banana extract, here's guest judge Kendall Beach. She's not here to do the voiceover at the moment, but I will relay her feedback. She thought the pineapple ice cream was fantastic, and the cake, while nice and fluffy, had a very strong fake banana flavor. The Patrick ice cream was too icy, and the starfruit was too tart. So it's no contest, SpongeBob wins this round of the Fry Cook games. And in the end, I had to try a little bit myself. Definitely omit the banana and maybe go with milk chocolate over dark, but I think Patrick put it best when he said,
I got it. Let's get naked.
No, Patrick, let's save that for when we're selling real estate. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's episode. From websites to online stores to domains to analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for you to build your online presence. All of my websites over the years have been with Squarespace, and I'm excited to share the new one, babi.sh. We were able to use Squarespace's website builder and custom integrations to create a site that provides a powerful cooking experience. If you want to try Squarespace for yourself, you can start your free trial today by visiting squarespace.com/Babish to get 10% off your first purchase.